Good morning, class. Today we are going to learn and discuss about the business analysis process model. The introduction of this paragraph is to determine whether a business analysis process model as a framework within which both standard modeling techniques and organizational templates that can be used as approach for incorporates the principles of requirements engineering to highlight best practice when we are defining system requirements. An approach to problem solving of the business analysis model proposes an approach that may be applied usefully to business analysis. In this section, we describe the implication and suggestion that the model has for you as a business analyst. The first stage, number one, is match finding. It's where we often begin when undertaking a problem investigation. And then number two, we are going to identifying the starting point in this model to emphasize that you need to gain some understanding about the complete situation before we are diving into option and solution. In chapter 4, we are going to learn about the problem solving model in figure 4.1. This is the data finding, what you call a match finding, and then you extract into data finding. The second stage of the model, which is concerned with analyzing the opinions, concern, knowledge, and ideas uncovered in the previous stage in order to identify where this information can be quantified and supporting data obtained. And then we extract the data finding into problem finding. This is used when the work of the previous two stages uncover the heart of the problem. We know that the complexity of the situation facing us and have been able to quantify some elements, whilst appreciating that other elements are personal views or opinions, and we may have been presented with a statement of the problem at the outset, and finding the right problem to solve, which is often a necessary part of business analysis, as we analyze and pointed that symptoms and they have to dig deeper in order to find out where the real problem is. After problem finding, we need to extract into idea finding. What is idea finding? Idea finding is taken during which business analysts try to generate a wide range of ideas. And then sometimes we often making different approaches to be used along with brainstorming in order to stimulate ideas. So during this stage, it may be useful to employ some creative thinking techniques. Two examples of techniques that can provide stimuli for creative ideas are assumption reversal, that is assumption about a situation that are listed and reversed, and random words or pictures, where unrelated words or pictures are used to generate different ideas about a situation. Okay, after that, we need to extract the solution finding and acceptance finding, of which the solution finding is significant, that is in this stage appears so late in the model that are often expected to deliver solutions quickly, and yet here we can see that it is important to resist the pressure to do so at early stage, and there are other aspects that need to be considered first. Okay, the final stage is the acceptance finding, of which concern with managing the implementation of the solution and an aspect that is critical to the success of any change project, but often fraught with difficulty. The process model of the business analysis model is to make business analysis work so interesting in the range and nature of business analysis projects. Sometimes the project may be to investigate a problematic part of the organization and products outline recommendation for ways forward, and after that, other projects may require the business analysis to analyze and document specific system requirements. The process model set out the key stage for a business analysis project, of which each stage representing the areas that need to be considered. Okay, in figure 4.2, we are discussing about the business analysis process models. You can see here the business strategy and objectives emerging in investigate situation. And then we consider the perspectives, and then we analyze the needs, evaluate the options, and define requirements. Investigating the situation concerned with uncovering issues and problems. In investigating techniques, of which we consider perspective, there are many investigate approaches that business analysts can use, and they are explored in detail in further chapter. So the level of detail required during this stage may vary considerably depending on the focus of the business analysis work. Analyze needs and evaluate options and define requirements stated in documenting business situation. That is typically a high-level overview of the situation that will be required during the initial investigation, particularly when the issues are complex and originate from different causes. The stage summary of the procedure are study background material, carry out initial investigation, and document the results of the investigation. The inputs of the stage summary is terms of reference or project initiation document and business objectives and strategy. Whilst the outputs are view of the existing business situation, list of issues, and business needs long. And the techniques are investigation techniques such as interviewing, observation, and workshops, and quantitative investigation techniques such as questionnaire, sampling, and document analysis. The considering perspective is concerned with analyzing stakeholders and their perspective on the situation. Many stakeholders hold very strong views about why problem exists that needs to be done to improve the situation and where the focus of the business system should lie. And the stakeholder identification and analysis is to some stakeholders may be directly affected by any recommendation and may hold strong view on how the system and working practices should be changed. And the stakeholder perspectives have different views on what is important about a business system and the improvements that are needed. This is about the business activity modeling. After that, the stakeholders' perspective can be analyzed further by considering the business activities that would be required to fulfill a particular perspective. This approach developed by Chekwan's work and extended by Wilson also analyzed to build a conceptual model of a business system investigated by a particular stakeholder. The stage summaries of the objectives is to take stock of the range of stakeholder perspectives about the business system under investigation. The procedures are identify key stakeholders, investigate the values, develop and analyze the stakeholder perspectives, build conceptual models, explore and resolve conflicts, and synthesize conceptual models into one view of the desired business system. And furthermore, the inputs of the stage summary objectives are terms of reference, business objectives and strategy, and identify stakeholders. The outputs are stakeholders' perspective, business activity models, and agreed single business activity models. And the techniques taken are investigation and negotiation, stakeholder identification and analysis, analysis of stakeholder perspectives, and business activity modeling. The analyzing needs of this stage is to identify where improvements can be made to the business system. The approach used is known as gap analysis, whereby a current or as is view is compared with a desired feature or to-be system. When we are analyzing activities, we have developed a business activity model from a stakeholder perspective that can be used to carry out a detailed analysis of the desired business system by examining each activity entered. However, it is possible that some aspect may be beyond the scope of the business analysis work. To analyzing business process is to making another approach to gap analysis focuses on the business process carried out within the business system. Whereas the activities modeled on the business activity model show a conceptual view of what activities are to be included within the desired business system. A business process begins with a trigger, which is sometimes called a business event, and the approach we take to this work is to model the current business process and then to consider possible changes to the process before designing the required process. Okay, and then the stage summary of this step of objectives are to explore the differences between the current and desired situation and to identify the opportunities for business change by analyzing these differences or gaps. The evaluating options of this stage is concerned with examining the potential improvements identified so far, developing some business option and evaluating them for the acceptability and feasibility. The identifying potential option, once a number of options have been identified, this can be reduced to a short list of those that are to be developed further. And how we assessing feasibility, we are going to make consideration of the business objectives and strategy that is also form part of this work, since any new business system will need to be signed with the strategy and support delivery of the business objectives. The objectives of this stage is to collect together the range of potential changes into packages of activity improvement actions, and these packages from the basic for developing a set of options that are then developed and documented in further detail. Okay, how we defining requirements? The stage is concerned with gathering and documenting the detailed requirements for changes to the business system. That in IT system, the people carrying out the work for the organization structure are subject to changes that may be any of the four aspects of business system that is described in first chapter: the business process, the supporting IT systems, the people carrying out the work of the organization structure. And if the recommendation include the implementation of the design process, this is likely to require changes to the structure of the organization and job roles, plus development of staff skills. The requirements of engineering approach has been developed as a response to the lack of rigor often found in requirements documentation. Requirements engineering propose a framework to help analyze, improve their requirements work by highlighting the need for proactive analysis, organization, documentation, and management of stated requirements. And so the modeling IT system is to make the techniques available to business analysts. These techniques originated mainly from system analysis and design approaches such as UML, and each modeling technique provides insight into a particular aspect of the IT system. We have to go through the objectives, procedure, input, outputs, and techniques also in delivering changes. Figure 4.3 is to extended business analysis process model. You can see here the figure 4.3 is via final output is deliver changes. Okay, this is the end of our rehearsal and discussion, and I would require each group to make materials for PowerPoint presentation, and then each group will take each figure. For example, first group will take figure 4.1 to deliver the presentation and explaining the topics of the figure for each group is each figure. And then the next group will ask the question about the figure that is explained. Okay, thank you for your attention. I look forward for your task. We'll see you next week with a group's presentation. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for your attention.